Welcome back to Limerick Post Show with me, Meghann Scully. I'm delighted now to be joined by Mary Murphy, who's going to tell us all about a brand new initiative, Masks for All Ireland. How are you, Mary, first of all?
Well, Meghann, how are you? Yeah, all good here. Busy day.
I know, I can imagine, because this campaign at the moment, is there 700 sewists you have at the moment? Can you explain to
Over
us what it is?
700 sewists now, yeah, all over the country, like up and down, like cross border, in every county now. So yeah, it's it's um it's like it's got its own momentum now within it.
It's absolutely incredible. So you've all come together and you want to make masks for the frontline workers. So can you tell us how the idea, first of all, came about and how you got involved?
Well, it kind of goes back. It goes back into early March, like where my background. I have a master's in aeronautical engineering, but I
Oh, wow.
make knickers for my normal business. But I have type 1 diabetes, and so does our little boy as well. And last year I built Johnny and I artificial pancreases, but it's from like open source code. And like, I don't know if you're aware, like, of all open source ventilators stuff now is all like kind of like known terms, but like open source to Google and me back in March was just like indicators for something I would be interested in. And it was a group that was opened up in the States called Open Source COVID Medical Supplies. And that was where they were trying to build artificial ventilators, build ventilators with 3D printing. And so as an engineer, I was under the covers and like looking online and just kind of going, whoa, but I'm living in Magherafelt now, which is Northern Ireland, and I'm from Wicklow. And so I was thinking NHS, fine. HSE will be fine, because the thing was in the States that they couldn't procure from China. And then the CDC dropped their requirements and that allowed cloth masks, not allowed, they needed cloth masks within the front line over there. But like, so everybody had started to sew and making all the different patterns. And the problem was that these are for people who are working in care and on the front line. So they needed not just something that was better than nothing, something that was effective. So they were coming into the group saying it needs to really fit your face, and it needs to have a filter, and we need to be able to change the filter, and we need to be able to sanitize it. So the fabric is really important, and the pocket for the filter and where it was and how it fitted the face. And they were pulling in all the research as well, Meghann, and showing us like this is shown that this is effective, this is shown that this is what we need. And what made me create the group initially was because to save people from wasting resources and their time, because those sewists in that group, they were like, you could feel their pain, because they were making these by the hundreds, leaving them at hospital doors, and they were being incinerated. And so like, it was getting all that, knowing that I knew all that information. And say the Friday before St. Patrick's Day, I created the group in secret mode, and I was just gathering information, and I kind of about like kind of, but it was not to be this, but it wasn't to be this kind of, it was for whole island, but I thought it was going to be maybe more about information as opposed to rousing a factory. And on the Monday, myself and Kelly, who's another co-founder, who we know in the bridal industry together, she and I got tagged in a post on a cancer charity page looking for masks. And we phoned each other anyway, and we were talking, and Kelly was like, what mask are you making? Because that's kind of the first conversation, like when you know somebody who sews and you're making something similar. It's like, what are you making? And I said, like, what I gathered was like there was maybe 3 patterns that I saw online that could be adapted. And like this one, but you do this and this, and this one, but you'd have to do this and this. And then, but the best one was the one like we chose that I said to Kelly, like, I know the mask we need to make. I just have to go get the pattern sorted out. And I literally made it, videoed it. It wasn't even on paper then, it was just the video. But it's just 3 rectangles. But it's the fact that it is, it ticks all those boxes, but it will fit 80% of the population, whereas the other ones, they don't. It's about the fit. It's about the fit, Meghann. So if it doesn't fit your face, if there's gaps anywhere, like the microbes just go out. And a mask is designed to hold your microbes, because you're trying to protect people. Like, we're in lockdown here, so we're protecting people from our microbes by being at home. But we go, I'm looking out the window because like that's my home. But like, when we leave our homes and go within places where we can't socially distance, we need to be in lockdown, but with our masks on. So if it doesn't fit our faces right, we're not in lockdown. Like so we're exposing people. And the likes of public transport and those enclosed places, you need a mask that fits you well. You need to sanitize it every day. It needs to have, I should show you the mask.
Yeah, actually, the pattern's lovely.
Yeah, so like it's a particular design. So it looks quite like a surgical mask. These aren't, in this state, these aren't surgical masks.
Okay.
These are face coverings. They're 2 layers of cotton, but they have a pocket for a filter that's at the top, which is important because this is a pandemic. You need to be able to take your filter out. But the filter is dirty. So you need to be really aware that like how you dispose of it. So if you have to poke and poke to try and get the filter out from somewhere in the side and all, you have to be really aware what you're touching, where it's going. Whereas you can just use a tool that you like, even a hands-free tool, and put it out and dispose of it and sanitize the tool. The mask here on the side is really important, how the mask sits on your side. So if you look at anybody wearing a mask, or how I don't know if you've got any masks yourself yet, but if you can see gaps here, your microbes are just expelling out this area. So because this has a little side ear, and the pleats are here, they're not where the elastic doesn't have to tighten on the pleats. It's on a little piece of fabric. It means it goes nice and snug to your cheeks, and then the filter is really important. So like there are masks out there that have the filter sewn in, which are effective, but they shorten the lifespan of the mask. This is a pandemic. We're going to need masks for a while, and so we need to be able to change these. Like this mask will last a long time, but the thing about the filter is these are woven. Cotton is woven, but the filter needs to be non-woven. Okay. So non-woven material for your filter is like, it's been shown to be paper towels, like kitchen roll, because it's like it works like if you think of a mask like a condom, okay, and it needs to, like, if you have holes all the way through, it needs to be a non-woven so that it can't get out. So it's really important that the filter is non-woven. Like you can also use polypropylene, like do you know, like your reusable Dunnes Stores and Tesco's bags that have the little dimples in them? They're not paper, they're not plastic. So they're chop up in it because like they're non-woven as well, and they can be sanitized too. But yeah, so it's how it fits and the filtration of it and where you wear it. So if you can't socially distance, you need it to fit well and to contain your microbes. It's not just covering your nose and mouth, because it's just going to go out.
It's just, to keep it all contained. As well, so if other sewists that are watching want to get involved, how can they?
So we have a website, it's Masks4AllIreland.com, and there's like a little tab on it saying make mask, and you can join the Facebook group. You sign up anyway, and then you join the Facebook group, and then you're kind of like in a little hub then wherever you are.
I think it's so great as well, because I've noticed so many more people. I think, a lot of us in growing up in home ec, you would have done a bit of sewing on a machine like years ago. But then I found, I don't think I've ever been on a sewing machine once I left school. So I do notice a lot more people now on social media are like going back to their sewing machines. They're taking back up something that, we should all really like. I wish I could sew myself now. And I think it's such a talented thing to have. And even things like this, not even just to be able to make masks, but to be able to do your own clothes, because we obviously can't be going shopping, and to be able to do it. It's such a handy thing to have.
Yeah, but there's loads in the group that are like, our group is like a sewing school now, because people are starting off just buying a sewing machine and have never stitched in their lives, or who haven't in a long time, and they don't have a sewing machine. They've gone and bought sewing machines, and sewing machines are hard to come by now. But if your mom has one hiding somewhere at home, or if it's in your house, they are pulling them out. And the thing about the group, which is lovely, so it starts off with, you create your first mask and you follow the pattern and you create your first mask. But how the group works as a collective is we learn together to sew it like a factory, so like the little factories of one. So you learn about the batch techniques, about how to make lots of ears all in one go and lots of bodies all in one go, and then putting them together all in one go. And but the biggest thing when you're starting is making your first mask, and it's getting over the fact that it'll take you 4 hours to make one.
Okay.
just because like you haven't got your head around it, and then after that, then you could make 10 an hour.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose it's like a lot of things. Once you kind of it's the first time probably is kind of the hardest, the longest, and as you said, then after that they probably do it in their sleep.
I say it like it's like baking a cake, because if you make one cake and it takes you ages and you get it wrong, and then you go and you make your second cake and actually it's a good cake, and then if somebody asked you to make 5 cakes, you'd make them as quick as you'd make that one cake.
Yeah,
the room in the oven. But
it's absolutely incredible, and it's amazing to hear about everyone. It sounds like you've built a lovely community as well.
No, it's lovely. They're really nurturing. So we do live every day at 11 o'clock, and it's it helps kind of bring everybody together and like tell them about anything new that's coming up. But it's almost like having a cup of coffee with your friends too. You kind of forget like actually that you're like the things that we are doing together. Like it's just like chatting with your friends, and then everybody goes off and sews or organizes, and like it's that the whole thing isn't just about us sewing in the group, because it's a crowdsourced product. And it's donated time, it's donated money, it's donated fabrics, it's donated delivery. So we use like the Biker Marshals or Bravo Charlie Tango to get the masks to where they need to go. And our priority is those who are working and volunteering among the vulnerable. So it's like care home staff, or it's those who are working in community-based care. They are definitely our priority, and anybody else then that comes after that then is done on a as we can do basis. But they are our priority, because that's where we know we can save lives by being that gap where the consistent supply hasn't always been.
Yeah, I think it's so incredible too to see that we're sourcing this now in Ireland as well, and I guess we're keeping people busy. And while and it's great to see some people are able to volunteer their time as well. And as you said, I think we're going to be wearing masks for an awful long time yet, and I think a lot of us will probably wear them on a more permanent basis going forward, because it just seems like the I suppose the healthier or kind of safer thing to do, especially as I mentioned there, public transport. I think now going into like supermarkets, anywhere that has crowds, I think you're going to see masks becoming a permanent fixture.
Get back out to work, like we're set up and mobilized, and we have over 700 sewists, and to date we've made 50,000 masks, like, and it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal, and we're even getting more structured and more stabilized into our areas, and our mask is getting more known for what it is, because there's a lot of there's a lack of education and around masks. So it's not just about covering your face. And I'm working with a really smart bunch of people in Team OSV, and they are producing education to explain what to do with cloth masks and how to wash and care for them, how to think about the whole thing, that it's not just about covering your nose and your mouth. It's knowing how to, and knowing where to as well, because like public transport, absolutely, like, but it's really everywhere. It's really everywhere. You can't socially distance for more than 15 minutes. And it's to know that we have a lot of vulnerable people on the island of Ireland, and like just because you've got a face covering on your face doesn't mean that you can go into your mum and dad's house, who are supposed to not leave their house because they're cocooning. That doesn't cover your face unless you've got a mask that fits your face well and you have a really good filter in it. It's understanding those that like this isn't a free for all. We're still in like it's really important.
It absolutely is. And Mary, must remind us, so the website is Masks4AllIreland.com. Perfect. .com. Mary Murphy, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you on the Limerick Post Show, and thank you so much for letting us know about this initiative. And of course, if any more sewists want to get involved, head to the website and there's more information there.
Thanks a million, Meghan. Thank you.
Thank you.